you have to seat Madonna in the right place, let's make sure you know where it is.
He's a real artist, and he's a real perfectionist, and he's in charge of everything that he does, from the way the scenery looks, to the way the costumes are, to the way the scene is lit, to the, you know, the writing of the script. And it was a real inspiration, a real learning experience to work with someone like that, because I like to be in charge of everything that I do too. So I felt that I sort of got to be an apprentice with a master in a way, you know. I mean, I think I'll probably work a little faster than him once I get it down right, but it was a great experience. And he's a great diplomat with people in working situations, and he knows how to be graceful under pressure, which is something that I'm starting to learn, but I could, you know, use more. I could get better at that. But it was good studying him, good learning from him in every respect.
Did you fight with him? I mean, there's you, the perfectionist, there's him, the perfectionist.
We rarely had any fights, no. I think we had one fight on the set. But it was because I was shooting a video.
So there he was, telling you that you shouldn't be doing this, giving you an earful,
Well,
telling you off.
he was upset because I wasn't concentrating on one thing, which is, you know, what I should have done. But like I said, I also have a music career, so.
Can anybody else get away with telling you how to behave, how to run your life?
He wasn't telling me how to behave. He was giving me, you know, a peace of mind. I mean, he was telling me how he felt about what I was doing. And I would say that most people I work with that I, you know, have a long-established relationship tell me what they feel about what I'm doing.
Can I ask you this one about you and Maureen Beatty? How are you getting on?
Can you ask me first? You let me answer if you can ask me, then you can ask the question.
Okay.
No, you can't ask me.
Will you answer the second one?
How are we getting on? We're getting on just famously. Great. I mean, we're really good friends. And we've both been working really hard on a project for a long time, and I think we're both really proud of it. And I think we're getting along really well, considering. I mean, this is a tough business to get along with anyone well in. So, yes. Aren't you gonna frisk me?
Yeah. You know it's legal for me to take you down to the station and sweat it out of you under the lights.
I sweat a lot better in the dark. Thanks for calling. I was beginning to wonder what a girl had to do to get arrested.
Wearing that dress is a step in the right direction.
Breathless wears a lot of tight dresses. Those are her redeeming qualities. She has a vulnerable side, so if anyone can manage to be a villainess and vulnerable at the same time, that's interesting to me. It's hard to do a song badly, which is what I was supposed to be doing in that scene. So Warren was constantly telling me to not do it so good, to not move well, to not sing well, to just kind of drip through it. But after doing 100 takes of it, it wasn't hard to feel that way. I mean, it was painful, but that's fine. That's the hard thing about making movies. Someone else is in charge, and it takes a really long time to set up shots and light things, and so you just end up spending so much time sitting and waiting for that 1 second that's going to be on, that you're going to shoot, that's going to get onto the film that day. And it's very disjointed, and it doesn't follow chronological order, and in a way it's really not enervating. What's the opposite of enervating?
Stultifying.
Yeah, it just drains you. To me, that's more exhausting than doing my show every night. To sit and wait and wait and wait and be ready in your costume and ready in your feelings and your emotions and ready to do the scene and just have to wait hours and hours and hours in some stupid trailer, you know.
So what does that mean about you in the future? Are we going to see you in more films? I mean, Desperately Seeking Susan. And then the other films after that, and now this one. I mean, it could mean that movies are going to take more of your time?
Well, just because I don't like it doesn't mean I don't want to do it. As I said, I'm not here to enjoy myself. But I do, putting that aside, the waiting arounds, I love the medium of film. So, and I do hope to be able to make more of them. Maybe direct. I don't know.
Maybe direct.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got any ideas?
Mm-hmm. But I'm not telling you.
Evita?
I'm not directing that.
But that's the role that you would like to do next, am I right?
Well, that's the role that they're planning on me doing next, but they have to have a script that's in good shape in the fall, which is when they want to do it. So if it is, I will.
And what about the character of Perón? What do you think?
Me as Evita Perón, I think that I'm the only one that can do it. I think that it's incredible what I've done. When I do sit down and think about it, which isn't very often, I don't really allow myself that luxury. But when I do, I have to say that I just think, God, I've really come a long way, and I've done it on my own, you know. So I could say that I'd have to say that I'm proud of myself when I think of that.
Done it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that you believe you've had to rely on yourself all the
Absolutely.
time? Yeah.
Yeah.
That you are just you. That there's nothing else around you that you've had to.
Well, I didn't have
internalize.
a family member in the business that brought me in and helped me out. I didn't have anyone around me when I was growing up really saying that this is what I should do. I didn't have some Svengali-like person coming into my life, like A Star Is Born, and saying, I'll help you along the way, or I'll create you, or whatever. I did it on my own. And I didn't have any money, so.
So what particular talents have you had to bring to that? Was it the Time interview that said brassy, aggressive, and this was about 6 years ago, but not much of a voice? Well, I think you proved them wrong on that one. What talents do you see yourself having used to get that particular level of fame and achievement?
Ambition and strong will and bravery and, and a lot of energy. I think talent is energy, and I think that there's a lot of talented people in the world, but how far you go and what you do with your life depends on how hungry you are.
Did you find it difficult to be taken seriously as a dancer turned singer, as opposed to somebody who'd actually gone straight into singing?
Sure, it's always been difficult for me to be taken seriously because I flaunt my sexuality, because I haven't had a lot of formal training. I think if, as a person grows, that they're really true to what they feel inside, it doesn't matter how old you are.
Can you see a middle-aged, an elderly Madonna, and what you might be doing?
Probably acting, and I collect art, so one of my fantasies is that I have an art gallery. And, one of the people that I idolized was Peggy Guggenheim. You know, how she sort of took young artists under her wings and, patronized them and supported them until they sold their paintings and stuff like that. And have a gallery of the 21st century or something.
I read that you one day would like to have children. Do you still would like to have children, have a family? Be ordinary?
Well, I don't think having children is ordinary. But, yes, I would. I think it's extraordinary. It's something I've never done, so I look at it with wonder and amazement. I couldn't say that any of those girls, like the Supremes or anybody, were like role models for me, because they weren't really in charge.
They weren't in charge?
No.
Was that the most important thing?
Well, they weren't singing their words. They were singing somebody else's. Yeah. They were, you know what I mean? I liked them, but I didn't aspire to be them.
You have turned out an incredible amount of material
mm-hmm.
in the last 7, 8 years. Was it 16 consecutive top 5 hits? More than the Beatles ever had over here?
Oh, I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that is something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was there anybody from that period, sort of 7, 8, 9 years ago, that you particularly looked at and said,
7 or 8 years ago?
yeah,
Well,
maybe even a bit further back?
Not women. I'd have to say, in the very, very beginning when I was just starting to write music and stuff, I was inspired by Debbie Harry because she seemed very in charge of what she was doing, and she also had a sort of wittiness about her and street smarts, and I liked her. She was a role model.
Watching some of your show and seeing the amount of costume changes and the choreography in it and the theatre, I was reminded of some of Bowie's stuff maybe 10 years ago.
Well, he was definitely an inspiration. That's why I say no women. The reason, actually, David Bowie was the first concert I ever saw when I was in high school. He came to Detroit, and I was grounded for the whole summer for going, because my father wouldn't let me go to this place. So I snuck out of the house and I went, and I was just enthralled. I mean, it was during, I think it was the 1984 tour that he did with, and he had all those mime artists and stuff. It was just so incredible, so theatrical, you know what I mean? And
What does a young
and he
girl
constantly
think?
changed, you know, and he constantly came up. He was like more like an actor, and he kept coming up with new ideas and new images and new feelings and new thoughts, and to sort of get everybody all stirred up. I have planned certain things knowing what the effect would be. Other times I've just done things. And for instance, in the very beginning, actually, when everybody was like into my belly button and this whole like material girl thing, I mean, to me that was all a fluke. That was the way I dressed way before anything ever happened, and that people attributed all these qualities to me based on the way I looked, and that was all some pre-planned thing that I did. It was just funny to me.
Does it ever concern you that the show's so overtly sexual when there's maybe some pre-teens and young teenagers in the audience?
No. No. Because I think if they're preteens, they're not going to understand it. You know, I mean, I think they're not any more overtly sexual than the Betty Boop cartoons that I watched as a child. I didn't understand at the time. Now I watch them and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed that, you know. But there's so many other elements in the show that I'm not worried. No. And, you know, I mean, people know what my image is out in the public. If, you know, parents shouldn't bring their children if they don't want them to see.
Maybe they sneak out, like you did, and go and see David Bowie.
Well, power to them.
Eh?
Yeah. I mean, David Bowie didn't have a bad effect on me. So.
And what sort of message do you think they're getting from you? That is good.
To be in control of your life,
Yeah.
to be in charge, to express yourself. This is the hardest tour I've ever done. A lot of shows back to back, not many days off, and there's a lot more, it's more of a theatrical performance in that there's not a lot of space in between each song. It just keeps going and going and going, and I don't really get a chance to rest till it's over with.
There must be times when you want to just say, right, I need 2-3 weeks off.
Yeah.
Stop everything.
I'd like to do that, but I can't. Because I got all these people, and we have a schedule, and the show must go on.
Well, the show is incredibly energetic. As you say, you don't get much chance to relax on it. Is it the most difficult one you've done?
Yeah, it is.
And what makes it so hard?
There are 4 different segments of the show, and I sort of change character in each one, and I have to stay in character for each one and never really come out of character. And it's I have to stay very focused, very concentrated. There's a lot of movement. There's just no chance to stop. So that's why it's difficult. I'm not really interested in a rock concert. I don't like that word. I'm interested in presenting I keep repeating myself, so more theaters so that there's a catharsis, there's an arc, there's an emotional arc, there's a journey that you go through, you feel, and I present myself in one way at the beginning of the show, and by the time I get to the end, it's something different.
Is this what you've wanted to do for a number of years and just felt it took this metamorphosis to do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a period of growing up, was it?
Yeah. And just the experience of being on stage and going on tours before and knowing what I can and can't do. And I guess I finally got the nerve and the artistic inspiration to do what I'm doing now.
Knowing what you can and cannot do, we see what you can do in this show, but what have you learnt that you cannot do? Or is there no limit yet?
Rest. While I'm on tour.
You can't put your feet up?
No. No, I sort of have to be superhuman for 4 months.
Well, you work out 2.5 hours a day. Then I'm told you have an hour and a half sound check. Then you have the show. And then you sometimes go on dancing afterwards.
No, I don't do that. Who told you that?
Well, I've read it. I mean, maybe I
Well,
was
that's
wrong.
a damn lie. If I go out dancing, then I can't perform the next day. I'd never go out unless I have a day off the next day and there's a specific party that someone throws for me. Everyone else goes out. I go to my room. It's really boring.
Well, how much of what we've read in the last 6, 7 years has been lies and damn lies?
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. So it doesn't bother me. It's just so out of control in London. It's hysterical to me. It's funny. In London, it will start in the airport and everyone will attack me. And they'll say that I tried to run over somebody in my limousine, and there will be like hysterically outrageous stories every day in the newspapers. And, you know, it's just a joke. I'm so used to it now, but it's not peaceful and it's not fun. And it's too bad because the first time I went to London, I had a fabulous time because I was able to really walk around the city and see the sights and go to all the museums and stuff like that, and go to the ICA, which I love to go to, and go out to the countryside, but I never really get left alone, so I can't do that. I'll come back when I'm an old woman and no one's interested in me.
If you know that you're going to go there and you're going to get that sort of reception, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel like I have to take the good with the bad. I mean, I just accept it. It's too bad, but that's just the way it is. I know I have a lot of fans in London. That's why I go there. So I know that there are a lot of people who do respect my privacy and just want to see me perform, and that's all they expect from me. So that's why I go there. I wasn't thrilled with my home life. I didn't like the people I went to school with, and I really couldn't wait to leave. So that's probably what gave me my initial charge out into the world, you know.
You were angry?
Yeah. Anger is my catalyst.
Strict at home, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think some people look at you now and think, well, maybe that's why she's so wild? Are you wild?
I don't know. Am I wild?
I've only met you for the first time tonight.
Well, what would you say, knowing what you do know?
Knowing what I know, having seen you on film, I would say yes, you are. But talking to other people, I know that you like to read books.
Wild people read books.
No, but you actually like to sort of sit down and take things in quietly.
Yeah.
You're not quite the demon that you are on stage, off stage.
Right. Well, I have a lot of sides. But I know that I wouldn't be the way that I am right now if I didn't have the upbringing that I had. I wouldn't have rebelled as much as I did. I wouldn't have any reason to. So I am a product of my upbringing. This is the third time now that I've been back to Detroit and come there to sort of to see all of my family reunited. They're all scattered all over the place. To see people that I went to school with and relatives I haven't seen in years, and it's very It's very, in a way, it's painful, you know what I mean? Because it conjures up images that you, and feelings and memories that you don't necessarily want to have. But I think that this was the best one so far. I mean, the first time I was on tour and I came back, it was like, okay, I'm showing everybody that I am somebody I'm going to be, and so, you know, here I am, and it was basically sticking my tongue out at everybody. The second time I came, it was a stadium tour, and I think I was very kind of removed in a way from my family and my friends and my home and my roots and my past. This time, you know, 3 years have passed, a lot of things have changed in my life, and it was, I feel that in a way I've come full circle, you know, in visiting my family. I feel much closer to people, and in a way I feel that I have let go of a lot of regrets and anger and hostility, and I've accepted things more. My past, I'm not so embarrassed about my past, like, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people go through a period where they don't want people to know where they're from, they don't want people to meet their parents, they don't want people to see the house they grew up in. It's just not as groovy as you wanted it to be. It's not as cool as everybody else's, so.
Have you been hurt quite a lot in the last few years?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the years before, and the years before, and the years before.
Yeah. But your chronicled relationships, I mean, I don't want to go into details or anything like that, but has it made it more difficult to work with all that going on?
No. Thank God I have work to do. It keeps me from going insane.
And you used your work as a sort of medicine to put it all to one side.
Well, yeah, in a way, can get a lot of things out through your work. If you can express the sadness or the hostility or the pain that you feel in your work, then what better way to kind of exercise it, you know? And understand it, try to understand it better.
Are you still angry about things?
Oh, I'm sure I am, yeah, definitely.
What sort of things make you angry?
Now, what sort of things make me angry? Oh, racism, sexism, bigotry, homophobia, ignorance, food taking a long time to come to the table in restaurants. I don't know.
Tea. Tea not getting here on time.
Sitting still for too long. You know, the big issues.
So would you say you're a happier person now than you were 2 years ago?
I think I'm striving to be happy. But if you want to get really analytical, most people say that I work too hard and that I don't take time to enjoy the success and the things that I have as much as I should. I'm a happier person. I don't know if I'm easier to get along with. Everyone is shaking their head no. No, I'm still the same demanding bitch I was 2 years ago. But I'm happier.